Robbie Davidson was a leader in the flat earth world, producing the documentary Scientism Exposed, parts 1 and 2, founding the ministry Celebrate Truth, which grew to 150,000 followers on YouTube, and organizing multiple Flat Earth international conferences. But now he's rejected it all and believes the Earth is a sphere. One of the connections that made Robbie even more well known was his association with Logan Paul. Paul, who today is most famous for being a WWE superstar and co-founding Prime Hydration with his friend KSI, was previously mainly known as a YouTuber. One of his more provocative projects was pretending to be a flat earther for his mockumentary Flat Earth to the Edge and Back. For that documentary, he spoke at the 2018 Flat Earth International Conference, an event founded and organized by Robbie. At that conference, Logan publicly came out of the closet as a flat earther.
I'm not ashamed to say my name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet.
But it was all a ruse for his video. In Paul's documentary, Robbie was shown as a leader and superstar of the movement. Here's one of those clips.
So we're gonna meet up with Robbie, and he's gonna give us
Wait, who's Robbie?
Robbie Davidson, the CEO and founder of the Flat Earth
Robbie?
Internet. Yeah.
Robbie Davidson. Do you know
Robbie Davidson?
Do you know who that is?
I don't.
That's the guy from my wall. Like, dude,
Well, yeah, we're
I've
meeting
been
with
following
him.
the dude for years, bro. I have his book. Like, you guys have to put yourselves in my shoes for a second and just understand like what this means to me. Bro, why would you say that?
Give me 1 second.
What's up, Logan? How are you?
Good, man.
Nice to meet you.
That's my friend Mike.
Hey, what's up, Robbie?
Mike?
Nice to meet you. Yeah, Mike.
Nice to meet you. Dude, it's gonna rock your mind, man. It's gonna blow your mind. Just go in with an open mind.
That's what I want.
Just ask all the hard questions to everyone. Man, they're gonna like just love the fact that you're just open.
Something else that's important to understand about Robbie is that he is an evangelical Christian who originally adopted flat earth beliefs because of how he interpreted the Bible at the time. Robbie is also a personal friend of mine. He and his family have been in my home, and we were members of 2 different churches together before my family moved out of Edmonton. I've always felt a bond with Robbie because while he was leading Celebrate Truth, I was running the head covering movement. We were both spearheading ministries that received a lot of criticism and were viewed by our critics as founding our ministries on a very narrow biblical interpretation. I never adopted flat earth beliefs myself, but Robbie helped me understand where he was coming from. After church, I'd often approach him with new objections or questions to get his take on them.
I have a question for you, man.
He was never divisive or pushy. He never tried to force his view on me or make me feel like a second-class Christian for disagreeing. He also wasn't trying to change our church into a flat earth church. Our pastors at both of the churches we were members of together didn't believe in my view of head covering or his view of flat earth, and we were both okay with that. I've always respected him deeply, especially for his charitable spirit and his commitment to the unity among believers. That's why his change of mind, while surprising in one sense, is in another sense not surprising at all. He's always been a man who cares about the truth and is willing to follow the evidence wherever it leads.
I just want the truth.
With all that said, let's now look at the experiment that shook up Robbie's world and led him to abandon his beliefs. Robbie's change of mind came after the conclusions of what is known as the final experiment. The final experiment was a 2024 expedition to Antarctica designed to test a central claim of flat earth theory. It took place over 4 days from December 14th to 17th in 2024. The trip was organized by Pastor Will Duffy and included a team of 9. Duffy himself, along with 8 content creators on both sides of the shape of the earth debate. For their travel to Antarctica, each participant carried GPS devices that continuously updated their coordinates, allowing observers to monitor their exact locations throughout the journey. Additionally, the chartered flight from Punta Arenas, Chile to Union Glacier Camp in Antarctica was tracked live via Flight Radar 24, providing transparent and verifiable flight data. These measures were designed to counter claims that the expedition was staged or that the participants never actually reached Antarctica. This mission was chosen because Duffy had realized in his conversations with flat earthers that if the sun could be observed continuously in the Antarctic sky for 24 hours, it would directly contradict the flat earth claims. So he arranged the expedition to settle the matter once and for all, hence the name The Final Experiment. This marked the first time in history that modern flat earthers traveled to Antarctica for a direct test of their beliefs. According to the flat earth model, Antarctica is not a continent at the South Pole, but rather a ring-shaped ice boundary encircling the world. In this model, the sun behaves like a spotlight moving around the Earth's surface, so it can't remain visible in Antarctica for 24 hours. It would have to rise and set like it does everywhere else all over the world. To put that to the test, the team brought a Starlink satellite internet kit and live streamed the midnight sun for several days. The flat earthers on the team admitted the phenomenon was real, witnessing it with their own eyes.
So obviously you all know Jaron Campanella of Jaronism, one of the most popular flat earth YouTube channels.
All right, guys. Sometimes you are wrong in life. And I thought that there was no 24-hour sun. In fact, I was pretty sure of it. But I respect Will Duffy for being a stand-up guy, at least in the way that he kept saying it was true. I kept saying it wasn't. He said, "You want to go? I'll take you," and brought me here. And it's a fact. The sun does circle you in the south. So what does that mean? You guys are gonna have to figure that out yourself. Don't listen to my beliefs or my opinion. It shouldn't matter to you. But at least you should be able to accept that the sun does exactly what these guys said as far as circles the southern continent. So I honestly believe there was no 24-hour sun. I honestly now believe there is. That's it.
Their cameras were set up to track the sun's position through the night. The live feeds that were broadcast on YouTube and social media showed the sun skimming just above the horizon at local midnight before rising higher again, never setting. This is what's known as a midnight sun. A second reason for choosing Antarctica specifically, rather than a northern location like Alaska or Norway, where the midnight sun is also visible, was the belief among flat earthers that regular people cannot access Antarctica.
You can get a flight, you can get it booked, get down there, they're gonna take a picture with a penguin, they'll take you to a ceremonial pole. But you say, "Hey dude, I wanna grab a backpack, I wanna go explore." You won't be allowed.
Really?
It is guarded big time. 40 countries signed a peace treaty, and it's the longest standing peace treaty that no one's ever broken. And it says that only military and science can go there. You're not allowed to go backpacking and hang out.
Many in that movement believed governments were restricting access to the so-called ice wall at the edge of the world, hiding the truth about a flat earth from the public. But the fact that Duffy could arrange private travel for the team shattered this narrative. The evidence of the midnight sun caused many truth seekers to abandon their flat earth beliefs, but not all. Some fairly acknowledged that while this data point does clearly contradict the flat earth model, they wanted to explore further before drawing new conclusions. Others, however, exposed their bias, clinging to the theory at all costs. Dean Ogle, a pastor and prominent flat earth preacher who declined Duffy's invitation to join the expedition, all expenses paid, even claimed in a sermon afterward that Satan himself might have created a fake sun to deceive the team.
Let me just say this at the outset here about the so-called final experiment and them allegedly seeing the sun move in a circle around them in Antarctica. Let me just go and tell you right now. You don't think Satan could pull that off?
Robbie Davidson later summarized the flat earth backlash to the data. Some claim the team never even went to Antarctica. Others insisted they did but filmed it all in a CGI studio. And a slew of absurd, even borderline insane conspiracy theories popped up to reject the reality of their boots on the ground evidence. Some even went so far as to be convinced that it was Satan himself going around the TFE team as a deception rather than just admit it was literally the actual sun they observed on the continent. Many flat earthers now shrug and say it doesn't matter, even though a core pillar of our belief, I was there from the start, was that a 24-hour sun in Antarctica couldn't exist. We dismissed it as impossible, but the team proved it's real. By the end of the 4-day final experiment expedition, the sun never set a single time, exactly what is expected on a globe and completely incompatible with flat earth cosmology. Now, this experiment was the final nail in the coffin for Robbie. He looked at the evidence and realized it wasn't on his side. He said the data pointed to a globe rather than a, quote, biblical enclosed model with a dome-like firmament sun, moon, and stars spinning around Polaris. Polaris, also known as the North Star, is fixed in the night sky directly above the North Pole, with other stars appearing to rotate around it. After over a decade of researching and defending Flat Earth and thoroughly understanding every argument for and against it, Robbie put together a list of 10 specific takeaways from the final experiment that led him to abandon the Flat Earth model. They are as follows, using his own words with no commentary from me. 24-hour sun. The team recorded the sun circling the sky for 24 hours in Antarctica, upside down and moving counterclockwise, opposite to what we see up north. I believe it's the real sun, not a trick. On a flat Earth, you'd expect a clockwise path or a sun that sets, so this is a tough one to square. 24-hour moon. The moon is visible for 24 hours, upside down and counterclockwise too compared to the north. Flat Earth voices have argued there's no 24-hour moon down there, but the reality says otherwise. A flat map struggles to explain that motion. South Celestial Pole. The team filmed stars rotating clockwise around a southern point in Chile, the opposite of the northern counterclockwise spin around Polaris. Flat Earth voices have doubted this exists, but I trust what the team caught on camera. A single northern hub can't account for two poles. Sunrise and sunset direction. South of the Tropic of Capricorn, they documented the sun rising in the southeast and setting in the southwest. I believe that's the sun's true path, not a fluke. A flat Earth model has a hard time bending sunlight to match that, unlike a globe's tilt. The South Pole. The team had someone at the South Pole while others were at a nearby camp. Flat Earthers claim it's not real, but I'm going with the team's account. A flat Earth doesn't have room for one southern point. It's all edges. Distance between meridians. They measure longitude lines in Chile and Antarctica, showing them closer together south of the equator. I trust their numbers. On a flat Earth, those lines would widen outward, not shrink, making this a real puzzle for that view. Southern Hemisphere flights. The team confirmed non-stop flights like Chile to Australia exist. Many have said they don't, but the evidence disagrees. Flights from New Zealand, South Africa, and South America reach the South Pole in similar times. I believe they're real. A flat Earth can't collapse those distances so neatly. Crossing Antarctica. They learned from staff that people have crossed Antarctica, showing it's a continent, not a wall. I'm taking the staff's word over doubts from the community. A flat Earth's endless ice barrier or shoreline doesn't align with that kind of journey. Weight variation. The team found that things weighed differently in Antarctica due to gravity shifts, as predicted. I'm convinced it's legit physics, not a ruse. A flat Earth doesn't vary weight like that. A globe shape does. Shadow measurements. They filmed 360-degree shadows from a 24-hour sun. I believe it's the sun casting them, not some illusion. Flat Earth shadows wouldn't circle like that. They'd stretch or vanish under a dome. Robbie wrapped up his reflections with this statement. These 10 points make it incredibly tough to hold onto a flat Earth, especially the literal biblical model with a dome where everything orbits Polaris. How do you fit a southern pole, a counterclockwise sun and moon, shrinking meridians, or flights to one spot from sprawling continents? I'm not saying it's foolish to try, just that the evidence from Antarctica leans hard towards a globe, and reconciling it with a flat model feels like chasing a mirage at this point. I'm now convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that I was wrong about my worldview and cosmology. The evidence from the final experiment team in Antarctica has settled it for me, and I feel total peace with this shift. I want to end this video by commending my friend Robbie. He named his ministry Celebrate Truth because that's what he truly cares about, and he wasn't afraid to follow the truth wherever it led. He demonstrated at great personal cost. As you can expect, he's now being lambasted within the Flat Earth community, that he wasn't some gullible guy ignoring evidence. He was someone who was willing to follow the facts no matter where they pointed, and no matter the cost. May we all have the courage to do the same when we're confronted with the inconvenient truth that something we believed for a long time is false. If you'd like to learn more about cosmology from a Christian worldview, check out Falling Flat, A Refutation of Flat Earth Claims by Dr. Danny Faulkner. Faulkner holds master's degrees in physics and astronomy and a PhD in astronomy from Indiana University. This book is written specifically for Christians who want to understand how science and scripture fit together when it comes to the shape of the earth. It thoroughly answers common flat earth claims while affirming the authority of the Bible. I've got a link to the book in the video description. Thanks so much for watching. If you found it helpful, would you mind clicking like before you leave? And if you want more content like this in your feed, click subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you in the next video.